they weren't, then I don't know what I'm doing here.
And we're live. Koricon Nala here, and I've got
Matt Kohler.
And we are talking about A Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place.
It's very quiet. Shh.
So we're going to talk really quiet the entire time.
No, we're not. This is not an ADR video.
Aw, dang it.
I'm not doing ADR. So,
Aww.
This movie was directed by John Krasinski, who is also married to Emily Blunt, who is also in the film.
Wait, I did not know that.
Yep, they are married. This is the first time they are worked together, though.
Okay.
They tend to, because of their private life, they tend to keep things separate. They have their own projects, but they don't normally work together. This is the first time that they've done that. Emily Blunt is great. Like, I love Emily Blunt. She does good, and she's a great actress. John Krasinski, I think, has been getting good as an actor in the past 5 years or so. Before that, he was all comedy. You know, he was in the American version of The Office. He's very much known for doing comedic roles.
This is the first thing I've seen him in.
Well, he was also in... he did a dramatic role where he played a soldier.
13 Hours?
Yeah. 13 Hours. So he has some dramatic experience now. But that's why I was saying he's gotten better over the past 5 years, because he's branched out and tried different things.
Yep.
But this is the first time that he's worked with his wife, but also he directed her. So That's interesting as well. Now, he had said in an interview that he doesn't like horror movies. And I wouldn't really consider this a horror movie.
It's not a horror movie.
I consider it more of a sci-fi thriller.
Yep. Usually a horror film, I feel like, has to have some sort of grotesque images or something actually frightening / terrifying. I mean, yeah, I categorize this as a sci-fi suspense thriller.
Yeah, like Alien.
Yeah.
The first Alien.
Yes.
That kind of suspense thriller.
I would say Alien even has more elements of horror than this, because it's decently violent. But we don't have to talk about Alien.
Your camera just... Oh, there we go. Your camera went wonky for a second there. Okay, You're back.
But, yeah, we don't have to talk about, Alien being, if it's a horror or not. But I agree with you that this is definitely a thriller, at least.
But if you were, for people... Because I think there's a bunch of people that aren't seeing it because they keep saying it's a horror movie. And I want them to know, you can watch this. If you don't like horror movies, but you like suspense thrillers, go and watch it, because it's not a horror movie.
I honestly think this is, if you like things that are a little bit on the edge, I mean, this is a pretty easy movie to go see. I mean, it's on that department. I don't think this is a horror film. I don't think people should be worried to go see it because it'll be scary. Because, first of all, the best hint is it's a PG-13 movie.
But it's not like The Conjuring. It's not that kind of... It doesn't have horrifying elements like a ghost nun. It's just an alien creature, but they utilize the alien creature a lot like they did in Alien, where you don't see it for most of the movie.
Yeah.
Then you get to see it near the end. So in those aspects, it's very much like that kind of structure. But what I liked about this movie, and this is a spoiler discussion, if you want to see my spoiler-free review, go ahead and check that out first, and then if you watch the movie, then come back to this. But in the very beginning, one of the things that I thought was an interesting decision that I liked was they killed off the youngest kid, right away.
I was totally shocked by that. I thought, okay, we see in the trailer, all right, they're going to
save him somehow.
Save him. Nope. I'm like, all right, I guess we're just killing kids off in this movie just right away. Let's do this.
But what that told me, from a viewer, is if you're going to kill the youngest child, that means nobody in this movie is safe.
Yep.
And so it added to the tension of the rest of the film where you didn't know who was going to go. Now, yep. I did figure that the older daughter, that she would live, because she is kind of like the main character. It's, for the most part, like a lot of it takes place through her eyes. And so I thought she would survive, just like in any Jason or Freddy or Michael Myers kind of film, you always have the innocent virgin as the one that survives, right?
Yep. I will say they make it look like in the trailers that Emily Blunt is going to die when she's giving birth. And every time, luck really played. Thank God for those fireworks, and thank God for everything that happened. But yeah, it's really interesting how this movie's laid out, because one of the most brilliant things about it is, just like Alien, where it's an hour and a half to 2 hour movie describing this new species. That's what they do, but they do it without dialogue. One of my favorite parts was something simple. They just have the weaknesses, strengths of this alien on a whiteboard. You instantly know what it is. You're like, oh, it's supposedly invulnerable. Like, we don't know if there's only like 3 or 4 of them that we think of in the area.
In the immediate area.
Yeah, in the immediate area. And they go to sound. And you know all these things, and you instantly know the monster pretty much. Just like in Alien, where they're describing, it has acidic blood, and it latches onto the people, and it uses it impregnates humans. And so that was amazing. I love the design of the alien itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole thing on the head where it comes out and then it's moving like sonar. I did like that. At first it was a little odd. I'm like, that's kind of weird, but then it makes perfect sense. And I liked seeing it do this kind of thing. Reminded me, I guess you would say, a lot like Pitch Dark?
Pitch Black?
Pitch Black. Those kind of aliens, they don't see very well during the...
Well, it reminds me a lot of the clickers in Last of Us. They're zombies that cannot hear or they cannot see, but if that they hear, they go right to the enemy, and except these things are a lot more powerful than clickers, because pretty much nothing can kill them. Which we find out how to kill these things later in the movie, which I'm very glad that they don't continue after what we see at the final shot. I'm glad it's just about finding the weakness of the first one.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to have the Independence Day where now you communicate with everybody what they need to do kind of thing, because that would change the tone of the film a lot. Going back to what you said about how the whiteboard that had all of the information of the alien on there. What was also good with that scene where the kid dies, for one, everybody is in danger now. You don't know who is going to survive. But you get to see very quickly the abilities of this alien. The fact that it only hears. The fact that it moves really fast. And the fact that it's, super violent. It only needs like one strike.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part,
And you really have no idea how giant... I mean, it's a pretty big thing, because it glides by that camera, and you see like these things that are stomping on the ground, like it has like claw-like things. But yeah, I mean, they give you an image of it to be satisfied, because without that scene, the first 20-25 minutes would have been exhaustingly boring, because it's setting the tone of the movie. It's setting everything up. It's okay. Here's the world. Here's what we live in. But with that scene, that really helped. It's a very Hitchcocky thing to have something super memorable in the first 30 minutes, but everything else is boring, and then you get to the really interesting stuff again. And they did that really well in this movie.
Well, like a lot of stories, they've got the grabber. You know, you have that
Mm.
thing in the beginning that's supposed to grab your attention and make you want to watch the rest of the film and suffer through the boring parts or exposition. But their grabber in the beginning gave so much information through visual storytelling that you didn't need to explain a lot more. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why the movie, you know, the movie's only an hour and a half, but it's a very tight hour and a half.
Yep.
They were able to basically cut out 15 to 20 minutes of exposition that they would have to do if they didn't have that opening sequence.
Yeah, I mean, not only do they do that, but they just get right down to the nitty gritty. It's nice to only see a movie about a family instead of, it's the, us against the world and, like World War Z type of thing where you go from, Paris or New York into, the, Middle East, and it's just too much. Where this is we're pretty much on a bridge to a farm. That's the distance that we go in this movie.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yes, yeah.
Which was very much of like a one location, a small amount of characters, and it's just their personal story. But there's no large world kind of story arc for that one though, until you get the end when you find out it's a sequel to Cloverfield. But for the rest of it, the majority of the film, it's a very small with little amount of characters, and it's their storyline. Now in this movie, they did have a quick touch of one of the neighbors.
Yeah, who just instantly kills himself because
his wife is dead.
Yeah.
But it was
which that's a very interesting thing. How many people do you think actually are alive in this world? Do you think?
Well, when the first time we saw him light the fire on top of the water tower,
or yeah, you see
the silo.
And you see a bunch of people's houses, light up.
So there is quite a bit, even just in the immediate area. However, by the end of the movie, she lights the fire. There are no other lights.
Oh, yeah.
And the fire went out too quick, and that's why the father couldn't find them right away. Because by the time he got to the monitors, the fire had gone out.
Yeah.
But we didn't see the other fires. Now, it could be one of two things. Either she lit the fire not at the time that they had all agreed on to see who was alive, and it was more of she's just trying to tell her dad where they are, which is what I think was going on.
Yeah, because she says, like, he's not coming.
But they did infer that it was around that time because she's looking around, they show her looking around at all of the other surrounding areas and didn't see any lights. So maybe she was expecting to.
I mean, yeah, it could just be something along the lines of she thought someone would respond, whether it be her father coming out or them. And because we established it earlier on, it could also be that they're all asleep or that they're all hiding as well because they heard the things coming out.
Right. Another thing that I liked with, being able to explain parts of the story, like how do you explain the fireworks? How do you explain all of this stuff? And her being pregnant explains all of that because it gives you a 9-month span that they were able to prepare for the baby. That's when you see them putting the paper mache on the walls and making
and the lights to make sure that when it's turned on that they know that this is happening.
Right.
They were really ready because, once that's established that she's pregnant and there's going to be a baby, I was into how the hell are they going to get past this? Like, that's like probably the hardest thing to try to be quiet about. Outside the other thing I was thinking about is how they have sex being quiet. Because they had to be completely quiet with no movement. Because that was during the same time that the incident happened, and so that was the other big question was how did they pull that one off? But
They, you
They had a lot of sand.
buy it on a stick,
Had a lot of sand in
lot
the
of
room.
lot of pillows in the face.
Oh God!
Shut up! Shut up!
Shut up!
Shut up! I liked the hearing aid. The fact that she was deaf. That was a nice. It made perfect sense that she would be deaf in a movie called A Quiet Place where you're not allowed to make sound. It adds a nice dimension to her character. It makes perfect sense that you would do that if you're writing that story.
It also seems like in the last year there has been a lot of movies with people who use sign language as their main thing. The other big one was Shape of Water, and it's like I've almost seen more movies this year with people doing sign language than any other time. I think this is the third or fourth movie I've seen that I was like, this is a very common thing. I don't care, but I thought it was really interesting that all the characters use sign language. There's hardly any dialogue in this movie, which is really impressive to do because, when I went to go see Tomb Raider, and there's people behind me. I was watching, the trailer was happening for Quiet Place, and they were like, "It's so weird to see him. It's going to be really weird to see a movie in complete silence." And I was thinking of, well, there was this thing called silent films that existed, but then watching this, I was like, this is completely different than silent films because silent films had dialogue. It had sound, it had music. Yeah, it was a silent film, but when there was an orchestra to tell the story, and there wasn't really a lot of that unless when they wanted to create noise.
Well, a lot of the sound for the movie came from background music.
Yep.
But also ambient sound. Like you could hear what was going on in the background outside. You heard maybe the TV in the next room because my brother's got it going really loud. But you had the sound of things that were going on in the background, right? You had things of where they're moving stuff. Like right in the beginning when they're in the convenience store, the grocery store, you would hear the kid kind of running around quietly. You would hear her moving the pill box.
Yep.
You would hear the little shufflings. It's just they're not loud noises. So you got a lot of that kind of stuff. It was really just the loud noise that you had to worry about. They would whisper to each other sometimes, especially when they were downstairs because it was muffled. And then they pointed out in that one scene where he takes his son fishing that if you're near a loud sound, it drowns you out. Which makes perfect sense, and he takes her to the waterfall. That's the whole point of explaining the fireworks. That's why the fireworks are there, to kind of muffle her screams from having a child.
Yeah.
But I did think those fireworks, there weren't very many of them. And
you didn't think so?
No, because
it honestly seemed like Disney World just celebrated 4th of July.
Well, think about this. So the fireworks went off for maybe 2 minutes.
2 minutes? That's a lot of fireworks that blasted.
How long do you think she would be screaming when she's giving birth to a child? It would be longer than 2 minutes.
I mean, I think what we see, because they wanted to build the suspense that, she died. Which, I mean, she's bleeding a lot. And let's not forget, probably the most intense part was the nail.
Oh my God, that killed me. As soon as she was coming up with the laundry and they showed the nail pop up, I was like, no! Because I knew they were going to do that.
Yeah, oh yeah. I was instantly thinking, oh my God, she's going to get home alone. The nail in the stairs. I don't know why I thought the Home Alone movie, but
that was so bad because they had the close up on her foot and she puts her hands under it and she's like lifting. Oh,
and the acting was so brilliant with her. And that's a thing that I miss, because PG-13 movies can still be violent. There's no limbs being torn off, but they are still, insinuating that there is violence. And like with the right acting and the right effects like this, it's perfect. I was literally like, oh, please stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sensitive area. It's like when something goes under the fingernail. It's not that violent. It's a very small thing, but everybody knows that pain. It's and nobody wants a nail in the foot.
I mean, she was tough without saying that she was tough. And that's another thing that I appreciate about this is, the females come on top, but they're not acting like, oh, it's not a big deal. It just happens. Kind of like in Annihilation, where it just happens. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that a lot because, I just appreciate it. And Emily Blunt is amazing. I thought the little girl was also amazing as well. I don't know the actress's name.
Her name is Millicent Summons, and she is actually deaf in real life.
Yeah, I actually seen the interview, and that was really awesome.
What I liked about her, her being deaf was the whole hearing aid thing. How would you figure out... Now, it would make sense, logically, you could take that leap of saying that they figure out, since they hunt by sound, that if you overpower their senses, that it would hurt them.
Yep.
I mean, it's a logical leap you can obviously go to, no problem. But having the hearing aid thing was a great way of showing that without having to, have a scene where they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It was almost
or just get completely lucky.
Yeah, and it was really cool that she didn't know. She didn't know why her hearing aid was going off, because the alien was behind her, and then it would run off, but she couldn't hear that, so she didn't know. So we as an audience know, but the characters don't.
Yeah, until the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, because I remember thinking, come on, turn the hearing aid back on.
Which is a shame, because John Krasinski sacrificed himself. Man, he got pummeled.
Yeah, he got taken out. But it was a good dramatic scene where he's telling her that he loves her, that I've always loved you.
Someone brought up a good point to me. Do you think John Krasinski's character would have done that if he didn't have that talk with his wife about how, what are we doing if we keep doing that? If we're not protecting our kids, then what are we doing? And the entire movie shows that he's a survivor. And so do you think he would have actually, sacrificed himself in that way?
Yeah, because the whole point of the movie is, what lengths would you go to protect your family? And everything that he does down in the basement with the multiple hearing aids, everything about his motivation in the film is how to keep his wife protected, how to keep his kids protected. He feels like he failed at that because his son died right in the beginning. And so he's doubled down on everything he can, everything he does in that basement where he's got the notes and everything on the wall. None of it is pertained to him. All of it pertains to, how do I keep them safe?
Yeah.
So I think it was, I don't think that it was totally obvious that he was going to die. But when they started that sequence and the kids got separated off, I was
by then he's gonna, but that's already to the sequence of when it's happening. If I was at the very beginning, oh, he's gonna die.
Yeah, no, I didn't get that. What I got is, you don't know who's gonna live.
Yeah.
Until the last 20 minutes, and then you figure it out. But
once John Krasinski dies, it's I don't think that there's only... Yeah, half the cast is gone. We can't keep killing people off.
Yeah. Yeah, unless the movie ends that way, the aliens win and everyone's dead. I guess you
which
could
is
do that, but
not a very good ending.
it's not going to work out very well for a movie. But
Yeah.
I liked the fact that you didn't have any safe characters. Like you could say that the daughter was safe because it was heavily focused on her.
I mean, I would only say her because there's never that moment in a sequence where she's being threatened alone. Like the little boy was when he's running to the court. I thought he was going to die.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, wow, dude.
I actually think the only two people who I thought would actually survive in terms of how it plays out is John Krasinski's character, because he doesn't have any moments where, he's hiding from one of the monsters and it looks like he could die until obviously his death scene, and the girl. Because those two characters never have it. It's the boy and Emily Blunt's character that have those sequences a lot that you think, okay, one of them is going to die because these aliens are this close each time to kill him. Like in the corn, like he was either going to die by the alien or the corn.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I thought the characters that would end up surviving would be the older daughter, and Emily Blunt. I didn't think they would go to the point of killing an infant. So I thought Emily Blunt would survive to be able to take care of the infant, and then the daughter would survive because she's kind of she's the innocent in the story.
She's the one that has the arc, like the biggest.
Yeah, she has the arc. The son,
I guess you could have killed her off.
Yeah, you could have.
Because she feels the blame, and she doesn't feel like she wants to live, and that could have been a version where she sacrifices herself instead of John.
I could have totally seen that as well, but it would have to be more of a, protect my brother or protect my parents moment. It wouldn't have been a by herself, kind of death. I thought the other son was gonna go. But he didn't, and that's what I like about this movie is the people I thought were going to die and the people that I thought would survive, I wasn't totally right, and everyone was at risk with that opening sequence.
My ears perked up and I started paying attention once that kid died, because I thought, oh, he's gonna save him and it's just gonna be a generic, oh, no one's gonna, everyone's gonna be fine even though it's a post-apocalyptic world. Nope, not the case.
And they got that out of the way, like, right in the beginning.
I know. They wanted to make sure that it's like, no, we are serious about this movie. You better pay attention to this.
And you could feel that in the theater, where people are like, when they're in the grocery store, they're like, oh, okay, they're being quiet, no one's talking. And then as soon as that son dies, everyone's like, what?
Yeah. I looked at my friend when we were watching, like, all right, things are getting interesting.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was happy at the length of the movie, but I thought the other son did not have enough characterization. He was basically sick in the beginning, and then very kind of scared, but trying to learn something with his father. Then he had the chase scene, but that was it. Like, he didn't have any kind of story arc, really.
I'm fine with that, because you do have some moments with him and John, at the waterfall. I mean, he has the only main dialogue sequence with John, so there is that. I mean, they set it up to be, John is trying to toughen him up, and not like a sadistic way, but more of, I want you to take care of, you can kind of tell after you've seen it, hindsight's 2020, that John does not think he's going to make it out of, whenever the Big Bang happens, and that's why he's trying to teach, the boy, okay, we got to do this. But even though the girl character really wants to, take the mantle or be the one that does it all. But I'm not too upset because Emily Blunt's character doesn't have a huge arc because she has the baby, and so that's kind of a huge plot. I mean, really, the two people that have the arc is the deaf girl and John,
Yeah.
and the big moment really is when he tells her that I love you. That is the climax of the movie, and then the resolution is them figuring it out and dealing with the problem. And I'm totally fine with the other two not being as significant. They've really focused on those two. And I think if they were focusing on the boy as being something, I'd be like, okay, I don't really know this boy. But I know the two main characters, and I'm fine with that. The other two are supporting characters.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of things that were Hitchcockian. I saw a lot of things that were, like Alien and 10 Cloverfield Lane. And I was happy about it, though. I was very happy to see that.
I saw that they took a lot, that John took a lot from Alien, that he loves Alien. And that was one of the things. And it's pretty obvious to see because the entire movie, just like Alien, is about the monster, get to know the monster. And so he did a very, very good job.
Well, it was also, he was a part of the screenplay, but it was the story and everything was written by Brian Woods and Scott Beck. Yep. So he helped out with the screenplay and was the director, but the story really came to him. What I think really kind of pulled him into it was the whole family dynamic. The Alien was a secondary, and you see that in the film. It's very much the drama of what this family is going through, and the alien is just there. Yeah, it's just there. It's a story piece. It's a reason, but it's not the main focus.
Yeah.
Overall, I loved the movie. I thought it was very well done, very well executed, very well acted. I liked the color schemes. I liked the music was very good. What I liked about the music is it wasn't too loud. Like when you have, there's some movies where the sound difference between dialogue and music volume seems like it's like 5 points away from each other.
Much.
And if you're watching it at home, you're like, turn the volume down, turn the volume up, turn the volume down, turn the volume up. With this one,
it's very fun when someone's asleep.
But with this one, they wanted to continue to hear the ambient sounds. And so the music was brought down to a reasonable level to where you could still hear things that were kind of happening in the background, whether it be someone walking or shuffling something, or when they were playing Monopoly, you could kind of hear the cotton balls or the dice hit the carpet kind of thing. So those quiet sounds would still come through even though you heard music in the background. So I think the way that they used music was very well done. The only, I guess, it's not a gripe, but if I'm going to nitpick, I thought there were too many of the loud sound jump scenes.
Yep.
I love jump scenes when they're done right, but you don't want to do too many of them. And I think using a really sharp sound that is added in post, that's not really a part of what's going on in the scene, is a bit cheap to me.
I agree, especially in a movie that's completely quiet for 90%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they needed to have that many really loud jump sequences.
Yeah.
Having a jump sequence is fine, but I don't think you need to have that sharp, loud sound.
Yeah, I agree.
It would have been, I think, more effective. And I think the creepy is always more effective than a jump scare.
Obviously, because on a second viewing or during television watch, it's not going to be the same because it's not going to be as loud.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't mind if there was one or two. But I think I remember something like 4 or 5.
Yeah, there's a good amount.
And I'm like, it's too many.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything else you wanted to add? I mean, I've pretty much mentioned everything I wanted to.
Rating?
Yeah. overall, I loved the movie. I'm gonna give it. I'll give it an A minus, and my reason for the minus is just that I thought the son could have been developed a bit more to equal the other characters, even equal the mother. Like, I think Emily Blunt's character was developed more, and he almost felt like a side character. So I would have liked a little bit more with him and the jump scares. But other than that, I liked it. And what I really loved about it was that they didn't try to pad the length to make it long. Mm-hmm. They kept it a tight hour and a half, which it seems like in this day and age, everybody wants to have the 2 hour or 2.5 hour movie, but they end up adding too much fluff to get that time length.
Yeah.
So I liked a good tight movie like that. What do you think?
Well, before the conversation, did you think I was going to give it an F grade or a D?
No.
Yeah, it's an A. I don't really have any complaints. The only reason why I wouldn't give it A plus is I don't think it's as good as like what we've reviewed in terms of like impact on me, like an Aliens or Kubo and the Two Strings, and that's really the only, if I'm grading it towards closer to those, it's going to be an A. I really love this movie. I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray when it comes out. I'll watch it a crap ton. Tell everyone to see this type of movie. There's really nothing. I'm just happy to see more successful original ideas that are kicking butt at the box office. We need more of that. I think it's starting to happen.
Yeah, and it shows you can make a good movie without $500 million.
Yeah.
They did this movie for a much smaller amount. I don't know how much it was, but it looked like it was maybe 40, 50 million, maybe 60.
It was like 10 million.
Really? I don't think so.
Because it already surpassed its budget like week one.
Really? I'm gonna look that up.
Hey Richie, how much?
Quiet Place.
How much was the budget of Quiet Place?
17. Wow. I thought the aliens themselves would be more expensive. Because they had enough of them in there that the CGI would push it to more than that. That's great. Yeah. I'm surprised. Pleasantly surprised on that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you don't need the 120, 500 million. You can
4-hour movie.
Yeah, you can make a good movie with under $20 million. Now, I think it does help that the director is married to one of the best actresses we have right now.
Yeah.
I think that helps a bit. Probably can bring her amount she would ask for down just a tad. Come on, baby, just do it for 10 million instead of 25.
Oh gosh.
Or, we don't have a big budget, but I really want you in it. I'll buy you flowers. I don't know, but it's like it would be more of a project that they would do together, and then they wouldn't require. But I bet you they have something in their contract where they get points.
Yeah.
So they're probably making a lot of money on the back end of this.
Oh yeah, I mean they definitely have like residual checks and royalties and all that.
Probably like come in on scale and then make a crap ton when the movie comes out. Like Jack Nicholson did with the 89 Batman. Yep. He didn't take much money, but he got points, and he's still making money off of that movie, which is crazy. But Emily Blunt was amazing in it.
They all were.
They all were very good. She was a standout for me. But I think it's because I can't even think of a movie in the past 10 years that I didn't think she was bad in. Like, even movies that I'm not a big fan of, she was good in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it makes me want to watch Mary Poppins, even though I don't like the idea of them doing another Mary Poppins.
Yeah, let's stick with the original.
Well, it's not going to be as good, and that's what everybody's going to compare it to that.
Yep.
Especially since it's a straight sequel. So, I don't know, but I'll go see it because she's in it.
Well, anyway, let's end on a good note.
Let's end on a good note. She's awesome. But
All right.
comment below and let us know your thoughts on A Quiet Place. What did you like? What did you not like? Do you agree with us? This is amazing. We pretty much agree on this movie. What's going on?
I mean, we've agreed several times. You make it seem like that we haven't agreed. There's like 3 movies we haven't agreed on.
Don't worry, we'll get more.
Oh, yeah.
But let us know your thoughts and like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. And we will see you on the next video.
Thingy.
Thingy.